Watcher to 6 actual. Target is in the main house. You have execute authority.
Bravo 6. Going dark.
How's it going, troops? Jordan here, back again with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare Loadout video. In today's loadout video, we are heading across the states to join the United States Marine Corps, or USMC, as we become a US Marine in Modern Warfare multiplayer. This loadout has been requested countless of times by you lovely viewers, so make sure you give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe as well as the bell notification icon next to it. And without further ado, let's take a look at our mission briefing. This is going to be a class setup based on the United States Marine Corps. We're going to face the war on terror using modern weaponry and tactics. And lastly, we're going to assist our teammates with ammunition and supporting fire. The United States Marine Corps, which is often shortened to USMC, traces its roots to the original Continental Marines and was officially founded all the way back in 1775, at a time when the Americans were trying to drive us British back across the pond. The United States Marine Corps had a few minor roles in both the American Civil War and the Great War, but all that changed in 1941 when Imperial Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, causing the United States to officially enter World War II and formally declare war on Japan. From 1941 to 1945, the USMC played a crucial role alongside the US Navy, pushing back Axis forces to close up the Pacific Theatre. The USMC's most famous engagement during World War II was the Battle of Iwo Jima, and this battle was the make or break line for both the United States and Imperial Japan. The Japanese put up a fierce defence, but ultimately the willpower of the US Navy and US Marines resulted in the Americans reaching the summit of Mount Suribachi and defeating the Axis once again. Probably the most famous photo taken from the Pacific Theatre during this time is raising the flag on Iwo Jima, a black and white photograph of 6 US Marines lifting and planting the flag of the United States of America at the top of Mount Suribachi. The US Marine Corps also served during the Korean War and the Vietnam War, with notable appearances during the battles of Hue and Khe Sanh. In the last 2 decades, the USMC have had numerous tours in the Middle East due to the global war on terrorism, including the campaign in Iraq and the campaign in Afghanistan. And in present day, the US Marines assist the US Army, US Navy and US Air Force out on the front line. So let's start off this loadout by taking a look at our primary weapon that we're going to be equipping. For years there were 2 primary weapons in common use by the US Marines, and those weapons are the M16A4 and the M4 carbine. In the last couple of years, however, a new primary rifle has begun replacing these weapons, and that rifle is the M27 Infantry Assault Rifle. We've seen these weapons in previous Call of Duty games back in Black Ops 2 and Ghosts, but unfortunately this weapon is currently not available in Modern Warfare multiplayer. So for this loadout, we'll equip the M4A1 as our primary weapon, and do our best to make it look as close to the M27 IAR as possible. So let's take a look and equip some attachments for our custom M4A1. For our first attachment, we're going to be choosing a barrel, and I've gone for the Corvus Custom Marksman. The M27 IAR features an extended barrel similar to that of the M16A4, and the Corvus Custom Marksman in Modern Warfare is the same barrel used on the real life M16A4, so we'll choose this as our first attachment. For our second attachment, we're going to be choosing a laser, and I've gone for the 1mW laser. Laser sights are usually seen attached on the side of the rifle, but in Modern Warfare this low lit red laser sight is fitted on top of the Picatinny rail instead. Since we can't equip a side mounted laser, we'll still go with the 1mW laser as our second attachment, just for the real world likeliness. For our third attachment, we're going to be choosing an optic, and I've gone for the Scout Combat Optic. Many US Marines equip Trigicon's Advanced Combat Optical Gun Sight, or ACOG, onto the top of their M27s. This optical sight is usually at 4x magnification, and while in Modern Warfare we do have the flip hybrid attachment, it's not the same as having that scope attached, so I've chosen the closest thing, that being the Scout Combat Optic. For our fourth attachment, I've chosen a weapon perk, and we're going to be going with fully loaded. The Marines help each other out with supporting fire and spare magazines to make use of the supplies they've got. In the Modern Warfare campaign, Griggs and the Demon Dog seem to have a great supply of ammunition for their M4s, so we'll choose the fully loaded weapon perk to ensure we have enough ammo when attaining those high kill streaks. And finally, for our fifth and final attachment, we could be choosing an underbarrel, and I've gone for the Ranger foregrip. For the final attachment slot, we could have gone two ways, either fitting on an undermounted grenade launcher or attaching a vertical foregrip. Both are very reminiscent of the US Marines, but since the noob tube in Modern Warfare isn't that good, I feel like having a foregrip would be more useful, especially at longer ranges. The foregrip I've chosen is the Ranger foregrip, and with this vertical grip, it helps improve the M4's recoil as well as keeping our aim stable, so we'll choose the Ranger foregrip as our fifth and final attachment. So those are going to be our attachments for the M4A1. Now let's move on to our secondary weapon of choice for this loadout. For many years now, the Beretta 92F has been the standard military sidearm for the US Marines. Before, with my Italian Army loadout video, the Beretta was not featured in Modern Warfare multiplayer. However, this pistol was added back in Season 2 under the Infinity Ward name of Renetti, so we'll equip the Renetti pistol as our secondary weapon. And just like our primary weapon, we can't go in bare bones, so let's equip some attachments for our Renetti. For our first attachment, I've gone with a laser, and I've chosen the 1mW laser. Laser sights and flashlights are common accessories for the 92F, and for this loadout, we're going to be choosing the 1mW laser, which is your basic laser attachment in Modern Warfare that increases your hipfire accuracy but also gives us that standard laser look. For our second attachment, we're going to be choosing a weapon perk, and once again I have gone with fully loaded. Again, we're going to be sticking to the same weapon perk as our primary weapon to ensure both ourselves and the team have enough ammo supplies to take down the bad guys, so that's why fully loaded will be our second attachment. And lastly, for our third and final attachment, we're going to be choosing a trigger action, and I've gone for the match grade trigger. The US Marines are battle trained when it comes to their arsenal of weapons, and so it makes sense that they have a trigger finger when switching to their pistol, and so that's why the match grade trigger will be our third and final attachment. So those are going to be our primary and secondary weapons for this class setup. Now let's take a look at our perks and equipment that we're going to be selecting. For our first tier perk, we're going to be choosing Cold Blooded. Out on tour in the Middle East and other hot climates, the US Marines don the Desert Marpat camouflage to blend themselves in with their surroundings. The Cold Blooded perk keeps our character immune to AI controlled kill streaks and keeps us hidden from enemy thermal scopes and optics, so we'll go with Cold Blooded as our tier 1 perk. For our second tier perk, we're going to be choosing Hardline. The US Marines are always out on the front line during various operations and tours, and they put their lives at risk in order for us to live ours. It only takes one shot to cripple a man or woman, and it only takes one bullet to end a person's life. The Hardline perk in Modern Warfare features a heartbeat which transitions into a flatline and allows us to earn our kill streak rewards with one less kill, so we'll choose Hardline as our tier 2 perk. And lastly, for our third tier perk, we're going to be choosing Battle Hardened. US Marines wear military combat helmets mainly to protect their heads against incoming enemy gunfire. As usual, we have the Battle Hardened perk in Modern Warfare, which features a military helmet and grants us extra protection against flash grenades, stuns, EMPs and toxic gas. So we'll choose Battle Hardened as our tier 3 and final perk. Moving on now to our equipment. For our lethal equipment, I have chosen the Frag Grenade. Fragmentation grenades are commonly equipped by the US Marines and are used to throw into windows and rooms to kill any hostile campers. With the Frag Grenade in Modern Warfare, we can cook the frag and time ourselves to ensure the enemy has no escape of the blast radius, so we'll choose the Frag Grenade as our lethal equipment. And for our tactical equipment, we're going to go with Stim. The US Marines are some of the baddest men and women on the planet, and when they get slightly injured in combat, military stimulants of the 21st century can be used to quickly heal wounds temporarily until they get the necessary medical treatment needed. Some stimulants and drugs are allowed to be used in the US military, depending on the mission length and situation, but it's clear that healing stimulants are something we're going to see in future use by various militaries across the globe. In Modern Warfare, we have the Stim injection, which regens our health instantly and lets us get back into the fight, so we'll choose the Stim as our tactical equipment. So now that we've talked about our perks and equipment, it's time to finish off this loadout by taking a look at our field upgrade of choice, and of course our selection of 3 kill streaks. For our field upgrade, I have chosen the munitions box. The USMC are all about teamwork during operations and supporting one another with ammunition and equipment supplies on the battlefield. The munitions box in multiplayer provides our team with plenty of magazines and an equipment refresh so we can stay in the fight. So we'll choose the munitions box as our field upgrade. Moving on now to our 3 selected kill streaks. For our first kill streak, we're going to be choosing the UAV. Unmanned aerial vehicles are used by the US Marines, and some examples of these UAVs are the Wasp and the Scan Eagle, both of which fly high above the terrain to seek out enemy targets and to track their movement to learn intel and plan the next step. The UAV in Modern Warfare is earned after 3 kills thanks to Hardline, and is a good starting reward as our first kill streak. For our second kill streak, we're going to be choosing the VTOL jet. Jet aircraft such as the FA-18 Hornet, the F-35 Lightning, and of course the AV-8 Harrier are used by the United States Marine Corps to provide air support over land, air and sea. In Modern Warfare multiplayer we have the VTOL jet, which is basically like an AV-8 Harrier, so we'll choose this as our second kill streak to provide us extra support from the skies. And finally, for our third kill streak, we're going to be choosing the Chopper Gunner. You can't have a US Marines loadout without including a military attack helicopter, and the USMC has plenty of them. Some of these attack helicopters include the AH-1 Cobra, the CH-53E Super Stallion, and of course the AH-1Z Viper. Modern Warfare multiplayer sees the return of the Chopper Gunner to Call of Duty, which acts similarly to the AH-1Z Viper, and features an unlimited supply of machine gun fire and 8 rocket pods to devastate the enemy team in the war zone. So we'll equip the Chopper Gunner as our third and final kill streak. Combining our weaponry, perks, equipment, field upgrade and kill streaks, hound your enemies in fear and unleash your inner demon, Marine. Hoorah! So troops, that wraps up my US Marines loadout video for Modern Warfare. Next time you boot up Modern Warfare multiplayer, definitely give this class setup a try in game, and let's do this, Marines. If you did enjoy this loadout video, then give the video a thumbs up, I would appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then why haven't you? Hit subscribe right now, and while you're at it, make sure you click on the bell notification icon next to it, so that way you're always notified as to when I make an upload. If you have any friends who might be interested in this sort of content, then definitely share the video around with them to help give my loadout videos and my channel more widespread exposure. And if you want to see behind the scenes previews of my loadout videos, you can follow me on Twitter at jordanxbrookes for all the latest on there. So until the next video, I thank you all for watching, stay true to me troops, and I'll see you in game.